Amrita IKS Center for Āyurveda, Vyakarana and Darśana feels honored to host today's symposium on Parīkṣā Paddhati. Let us commence with a prayer.
Nyāya Tejomai Naishtiki Snigdha Pankavilokini Bhagavati Mandasmita Shrimukhi Vatsalyamritavarshini Sumadhuram Sankirtanalapini Shyamangi Madhusiktasuktim Amritanandatmikāmīśvari. Thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar. Thank you for joining.
Amrita IKS Center for Āyurveda, Vyakarana and Darśana is among 13 IKS centers selected for funding by the Indian Knowledge System Division of Ministry of Education. It is a collaboration between Amrita School of Ayurveda and Amrita Darshana, Amrita Center for Spiritual and Cultural Studies. IKS Center of Amrita University has chosen Ayurveda, Darshana and Vyakarana as their focus areas. Arogya Samskriti, the Ayurveda component, the Patha Vimarshatmaka Sampadana and Adhyayana of Ashtadhyayi, the Vyakarana component, and Parīkṣā Paddhati, the Darshana component. I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Sushma N.S., Associate Professor and Research Officer, Amrita Center for Advanced Research in Ayurveda, for the welcome address.
Amriteshwari Namaha. Pranams to all the faculties and experts present over here. It brings me immense pleasure to extend a heartfelt welcome to our distinguished guests and experts in Ayurveda, Dr. Supriya Ma'am, Dr. Kirish Sir, Kishore Patwardhan Sir, Dr. Asmita Vele Ma'am, Dr. Rajmohan Sir, and Dr. Rajeshwari Ma'am. Thank you for joining us today for the symposium on Parīkṣā Paddhati, an Ayurveda-based research methodology hosted by the Amrita IKS Center for Ayurveda, Vyakarana and Darshana. So this symposium is a platform where we will be sharing the outcome of dedicated research with the panel of esteemed experts. Beyond just presentation, our goal is to engage in lively discussion and debates to refine our research approach, drawing inspiration from the deep roots of Ayurveda knowledge. Your expertise is highly valued, and we strongly believe your participation will greatly enhance the success and depth of insight from this event. Thank you all for being here. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Priyada, our research fellow, to give a brief introduction to the distinguished panelists joining us today. Thank you.
We are indeed fortunate to have esteemed personalities from the field of Ayurveda present today. First, we have Dr. Girish Tillu. He is currently the Principal Investigator, Āyush Center of Excellence, Department of Health Science, Savitribai Phule Pune University. He also serves as Assistant Professor, Department of Health Science, Savitribai Phule Pune University. In addition, he is the Executive Editor, Journal of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine. He is a doctor by training and a researcher by profession. He is a blend of traditional knowledge and biomedical research with more than 20 years of experience in an interdisciplinary environment. Dr. Girish currently leads the research group at the Center for Complementary and Integrative Health for various innovative research projects, including preclinical studies and clinical trials. He subsequently worked at the Center for the Development in Advanced Computing for a prestigious project, AYURSOFT, that involved development of knowledge base of Ayurveda. Since 2022, he has been associated with the Center for Rheumatic Diseases for various clinical research activities. He has participated in the coordination and execution of multi-institutional drug development research activities for the degenerative and autoimmune diseases, various epidemiological projects related to treatment, seeking behavior, drug utilization studies, clinical trial, and case series. We are extremely privileged to have you, sir. And next, we have Dr. Supriya Bellarao, currently working as a scientist and head metabolic research lab Interactive Research School of Health Affairs, Bharati Vidyapeeth Deemed University, Pune. She has completed 2 government-funded, 7 pharma-sponsored, and 15 academic projects as principal investigator. She is also a member of Pre-Scientific Advisory Committee, ICMR, NITM, Belgavi, and the member of Expert Committee for Products Approval, FSSAI, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. She is Associate Editor, Journal of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine. She has been invited for more than 350 lectures on research methodology, statistics, ethics, scientific writing, and pharmacovigilance as a resource person in guest lectures, workshops, seminars, and conferences across the country. She has more than 50 publications in national and international journals to her credit, ma'am. And now, Dr. Professor Kishore Padwardhan currently works for the Department of Kriya Sharir, Faculty of Ayurveda, Banaras Hindu University. He is involved in developing and evaluating different teaching learning methods for Kriya Sharir. He has lectured in India and abroad on various topics such as Ayurveda physiology, academic writing, research methods, educational research, and education policy. He has received Ayush-sponsored Vaidya Scientist Fellowship from TDU, Bengaluru. And his research interests include Ayurveda biology, Ayurveda education, and policies on higher education. And he is a recipient of Dr. C. Dwarikanath Award on Indian Association for Study of Traditional Asian Medicine for the year 2019. He is an editorial board member of Journal of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine. He has worked as a member of scientific advisory committees of IPGT and RA, the Central Council for Research in Ayurvedic Studies, CCRAS, and the School of Life Sciences, Mahe, Manipal. He is the coordinator and the principal investigator of Ayurveda Network, an activity that was initiated under a subject-based network component of the PMMNTT scheme of Ministry of Education, Government of India. And this is currently being supported by Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. Welcome, sir. And next, we have Dr. Asmita ma'am. Dr. Asmita Vele is Director of Research at Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Ayurveda and Research Center. And currently, she is a member of Pharmacopoeia Commission of Indian Medicine and Homeopathy. She had been the professor and head of the Department of Rasashastra and Vaiśeṣika at the College of Ayurveda Bharati Vidyapeeth Deemed University in Pune, India. She is a faculty of MUHS for teaching research methodology, and she successfully completed her 3-year tenure at Hungary as chair professor and has been awarded honorary professorship at University of Hungary. And she had published over 40 research papers in Scopus and Web of Science, also a patent. Her articles and chapters are published in books by Taylor and Francis and Royal Society of Chemistry, UK. She has authored a book titled Principles of Research for Ayurveda, Applied Research Methodology. And she has contributed to the preparation of 2 documents of World Health Organization, the WHO benchmarks for the training of Ayurveda and practice of Ayurveda, which are published in 2022. Once again, hearty welcome, ma'am. Dr. Rajmohan V. currently serves as Associate Professor, Department of Rasashastra and Vaiśeṣika, Government Ayurveda College, Thiruvananthapuram. He is also the State Coordinator, State Ayurveda COVID-19 Response Cell, Department of Ayush, Government of Kerala, and Special Officer, International Research Institute of Ayurveda, Government of Kerala, and he was a medical officer at Department of Indian System of Medicine and Research Officer at Drug Standardization Unit under the Directorate of Ayurveda Medical Education, Government of Kerala. Dr. Rajmohan V. was a technical committee member of the School of Ayurveda and the School of Health Policy and Planning of Kerala University of Health Sciences. He was a member of Travancore Cochin Medical Council. He is an invited faculty of the UGC Human Resource Development Center, University of Calicut, Kerala. Dr. Rajmohan V is the coordinator of the task force constituted by Kerala government for utilizing Ayurveda in the prevention, mitigation, and rehabilitation of COVID-19 in Kerala. He is also the state coordinator of the State Ayurveda COVID-19 Response Cell, Department of Ayush, Government of Kerala, and the nodal officer for COVID-19 activities to the Department of Ayush. And he was one of the high impact project coordinators of Ayurveda for Department of Ayush, Government of India, and was a member of Central Council of Indian Medicine Syllabus Committee. He has many more achievements to his credits. We are pleased to have you, sir, here. And next we have Dr. Rajeshwari PN. He is working as professor and head of the department, Shalyatandra, Amrita School of Ayurveda. She completed her PhD from National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur, Rajasthan. She also served as a PhD guide in School of Ayurveda and interdisciplinary PhD program, Amrita Vishwavidyapitham. She is an expertise in Shalyatandra, offers 10-year background supporting students, developing instructional plans, developing skills and surgical techniques, and organizing the grades and exams tests. Commended for sustaining an effective learning environment through prepared clinical and practical sessions, relevant assignments, and consistency, achieving classroom and management and academic goals. In addition to these, she has authored nearly 20 scientific papers in peer-reviewed journals and guided more than 50 scientific papers of PG students of national and international seminars. She is also the member of National Sushruta Association of India. Once again, a hearty welcome to all the scientific team. And now we are beginning our symposium. I invite Dr. P. Ramanohar, the Project PI and Research Director at Amrita Center for Advanced Research in Ayurveda, Amrita School of Ayurveda, to start the scientific session.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So thank you to everyone for joining us today morning. As was discussed, we are running a project funded by the IKS division of the Ministry of Education, where we are trying to see how Indian knowledge systems can contribute to the future of India, especially by looking at how IKS, this is now called as IKS Indian Knowledge Systems. What are the relevant components of IKS that can be applied, to benefit society, to solve societal problems? And this project is looking at how Ayurveda could be defined from an IKS perspective. Ayurveda has been one only medical system in the IKS domain that has continued to survive, continued to be used and applied in society. But we have not really looked at it from an IKS perspective. Today, we are trying to modernize Ayurveda by linking it with modern science, which is definitely necessary. But we believe that such an exercise would be more fruitful. Bringing it with modern science would be more fruitful if we also first look at it from an IKS perspective. In my personal opinion, I think I will just share the slides in a moment, just giving a background. In my personal opinion, modern medicine, modern science comes with a very radical approach to knowledge building. And Ayurveda has generally been, looking at itself as, to a great extent, as a belief system, and finds it sometimes very difficult and challenging to incorporate the more, radical outlook of modern science, which questions everything. And that is why I think for Ayurveda to open up, rather than looking at just modern science, looking at its own roots within the IKS system, in my belief, will not make it more a belief system, but more an open knowledge system. So that is the whole background. We are trying to look at how Ayurveda can continue to evolve as a knowledge system. And for that, it has to come out of its shell of, beliefs to a more self-examining, self-developing knowledge system. And looking at it from an IKS perspective, I think is the best solution to take it forward. for having a better interaction even with modern science, it should look at its own roots. So that is the overall background. Now I have put up some slides. They are very indicative. Mainly the goal of our meeting today is to have a lively discussion, a constructive discussion, but which will also be very critical. So I think we do not need to wait for the whole presentation to be over to have discussions. What I thought was that, I will discuss a few things and then we can have a round of discussion and then we can go forward. Otherwise, it becomes very monotonous. So I hope you agree that I will start with, some basic ideas and then, we can, have a discussion. At least at the time of discussion, I would request all of you to again bring on your cameras. So, as was mentioned by Dr. Priyada, our IKS Center is focusing on 3 areas. One is Ayurveda as an Arogya Samskriti, where we are attempting to rediscover India's health culture, which is codified, in non-Ayurvedic Sanskrit textbooks, which contain a wealth of health information. Anyway, that is not our focus today, so I'm not going into much detail. The second thing is on Vyakarana, because all our classical texts need to be critically restored in order to be authentic. So critical edition is a very important aspect in the study of ancient texts. So we have one component dealing with Vyakarana. And the third one, which we are discussing today, is called as Parīkṣā Paddhati, which is based on the Darshanas, which is looking at the IKS perspective on how knowledge was created in olden times, how knowledge was validated, and how these principles can again be brought into the domain of Ayurveda for, restoring it, revitalizing it, and linking it with also modern scientific research. So I'm going to make some basic statements and we could also debate about it. I also wanted this discussion to be initiated, so some statements may be a bit provocative. So we have to accept that Ayurveda is at the crossroads of sorts. In the sense that Ayurveda, though it has survived the vicissitudes of time, it is a living tradition in modern times. We can say it's the only IKS system that is living and being applied to deal with societal problems. But in spite of this, Ayurveda is yet to gain global acceptance as a legitimate knowledge system. It is even relegated to the status of pseudoscience by critics. So at this point, I would like to get some feedback. Do you all agree with this perception? Or should we be worried about Ayurveda being labeled as pseudoscience? What I'm making is a statement that although Ayurveda is surviving, it is not flourishing. And this is because of the way it is perceived. Ayurveda needs to legitimize itself as, a valid knowledge system. So do you all agree that there is such a problem at all? Because the remaining discussions are all based on this perception. So I'd like to take a few minutes to get your feedback.
Yes, sir, we are all here.
Yeah. So, I wanted this session to be interactive. So, these are certain premises that we are setting at the beginning. I don't want to put a rosy picture that, Ayurveda is doing great. There are some problems that we are facing. It is more at an intellectual level. Though there is a lot of interest, we have the WHO Center for Traditional Medicine. there's something that has prevented Ayurveda from really flourishing and getting accepted in spite of a lot of efforts that we're doing. And I think a lot of it has to do with Ayurveda and its status as a valid knowledge system. It is being questioned. And the only solution that is being offered is to make it more scientific, more scientific, more evidence-based. That is being touted as the only way Ayurveda can get global acceptance. So this is a kind of crisis of sort that Ayurveda is facing, which makes me to even go to the extreme of saying that Ayurveda is at a crossroads of sorts. So I just needed to get your feedback on, are we all, on the same page? Do we all perceive such a challenge exists or not? So I would request any one of you to, give your comments so that we can initiate a small discussion.
Yeah, I think I agree with most of the points raised over here. And see, there are a couple of comments that I would like to make. One is about global acceptance. I think the problem is, am I audible? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe a little low if you can come
Okay.
close.
Okay. Yeah. So I think the global acceptance is secondary thing. The first thing is, I think the dilemmas that Ayurvedic doctors themselves face. They themselves have a sort of not sure of what they practice and what they talk about. So there is a gap between what we talk and what we do. This is what I have been perceiving, and I think acceptance at the global level could be the next thing. But first, we need to ensure that our own community accepts it, the way it should be, because we call it science and we do not practice it as science. This is the problem. This is one thing. Second thing is about pseudoscience. Pseudoscience, it is recently I have been studying about science, pseudoscience debates and so on. So science, pseudoscience is a spectrum. So even the staunch followers of science, they say that physics is more science and biology is a lesser science. So I think we should not go into the debate of science, pseudoscience, because it is a ill-defined terminology, and calling the entire Ayurveda as pseudoscience is something that is ridiculous. And spirit of Ayurveda has always been scientific. So the pseudoscience label being applied by certain critics, though it could have ramifications, especially at the societal level, but as such we need not be much bothered about it, because we can show them that in your own science or mainstream science itself there is hierarchy of sort of things. Ernest Rutherford once said that physics is only the science and rest all the sciences are just a stamp collection. So that hierarchy exists even in the mainstream sciences. We often neglect this point. So these are the couple of comments that I had to make. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kishore. Thank you for being very focused and also brief. We'd like to hear from everybody, so thank you so much. Anybody else?
Yeah, Ramanohar sir. Yeah. Of course, I joined the opinions of Ramanohar sir as well as Kishore sir. Of course, definitely, I share the opinion of Kishore sir that the global acceptance comes second, because I think 5 or 6 years back we are pretty good at talking global acceptance, because at that time Ayurveda was actually comfortable in the Kerala perspective. Population were using definitely Ayurveda as a science, no doubt about it. But the post-COVID era, during the COVID era and the post-COVID era, discussions regarding the science and pseudoscience definitely affected, particularly in the Kerala perspective, in the Kerala industrial perspective, it's definitely affected the Kerala industry, because I have been discussing these issues with some of the industrialist entrepreneurs out there. And nowadays it is affecting. Probably they may not be the persons or the common man who is reading all these stuff from the social media, they actually do not know the difference between the pseudoscience, the flimsy line between the pseudoscience and where Ayurveda is actually placed. So that kind of serious discussion is probably not happening in the social media platforms. Definitely that is affecting Ayurveda, that we can probably it starts reflecting in the turnover, reflecting in the marketing levels of some of the major companies. So it starts worrying. So rather than worrying much about the global acceptance, the perspective of global acceptance actually encompasses much more broader areas. It always depends upon the country, the receiving country. They have their own guidelines, their own regulations to receive a medicine from another country. So we have to be much more cautious regarding our presence or our existence in the public health scenario of India. So that is the major thing we have to focus. So whatever thing, Parīkṣā, Paddhati or research methodology we are talking about, definitely that has to connect. All those things have to connect Ayurveda with the public health scenario of the country. So that is, I think, the primordial thing we have to consider here. So that is my quick comment. Probably I'll reserve other for others' comments. Okay.
Thank you. Yes, I think both of you have made pertinent comments. Especially, I think it's very important to realize that we have an internal crisis more than an external crisis, and there's a lot of setting the home right, bringing our perspective from inside to be more clear. That's, I think, what both of you are mentioning. I'd like to just comment to Dr. Rajmohan that one of our components, Ārogya Samskriti, is all about how Ayurveda can contribute to public health. In our center, we have three components. The first component is Ārogya Samskriti, which was an old idea of public health inspired by Ayurveda, which was very people-empowering approach. I mean, it's not a medicalized approach to public health, but very much a people-centric approach. So maybe we will have a symposium on that also later. So thank you so much. Now I'd like to hear from others. In the meantime, Dr. Asmita has joined. We'd like to see your face also for our records. Dr. Asmita, are you available?
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to, be a part of such wonderful discussions. Wonderful in the sense today, pardon me, my voice has gone very raw. So, am I audible now?
Yeah, you can. We'll hear from you soon. So, what about others in the meantime? Dr. Rajeshwari, Dr. Girish, Dr. Supriya.
Yes, sir. Can I say something? Yes.
Yes.
Ramanarji?
Yes.
Okay. I think the major problem is not recognition, but I think we need to understand ourselves, and we cannot remain isolated. We cannot divide the world into BMS, non-BMS, etc. And because interdisciplinarity and holism is a reality, and hence we should connect with our other knowledge systems as well. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. Next, Dr. Rajeshwari was trying to say something.
Yes, sir. Namaskar, sir. I was hearing to all others. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. I was hearing to other experts' words. So let me give you an example what I can say as a clinician. A week before, a patient came to us saying that, and he was a diagnosed case of chronic arterial occlusion of the foot. Okay, so it was spreading from the ankle to the knee, and he traveled all the way from Chhattisgarh to take treatment from our hospital. Then I analyzed all the reports, and when I was rather than listening to our explanations or our plan of treatments, instead he was just telling, there was a doctor who diagnosed me with an Ādi Parīkṣā. Why can't you do that? And with that Nadi Parīkṣā, he suggested that there is an increase of pitta, and he had given some medicines. So this is the challenge we are really facing, because we don't know how to, if we are being more scientific, the people who come to us are not aware of such attempts of the doctors. And somewhere the awareness or the knowledge, patient information given to the patient is getting diluted. That's what I just wanted to raise here. So those things we must address. And once we start, once we are starting to become very scientific, there are people who will be just giving a superficial knowledge, or they'll be giving just what do you call it, is a simple guidelines to treat a major illness, which may be a threat to the patient's life itself. So this kind of challenge we often face, and I think that is a demarcation which is making us more challenging in the society. So this is just I want to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that comment. Now, Dr. Supriya.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So I have a question rather than any comment on this. I just want to know from you, like in this IKS, the knowledge system, Ayurveda is a knowledge, and when we say like Ayurveda is a medical science or a traditional science, is there any difference in these two words? Because all others are also knowledge systems, and it is a why I am asking you this question, because way back in 2002, when I had been to Germany for first time, I understood that Dr. Asmita was also with me that time, that people were learning Ayurveda as a Vyakaran or Darshan or Sanskrit from viewpoint, but not as a medical science, as a system, as a medical science. So is there any difference when we say knowledge system and science or medical science? Is there any difference?
No,
Maybe because it is looked more from that perspective.
No. The idea is when we are calling
pseudoscience, this critics is also like comes because.
No, Indian knowledge system, the whole concept has emerged with the idea that just like other things, art, music, there can be different approaches. You can have Indian dance, you can have Indian music, you can have Western music. Similarly, knowledge systems can also be different. As of now, knowledge, when it comes to knowledge, there is only Western system. So in order to break that, idea, they have proposed the thing that there could be pluralism of knowledge systems also. So Indian knowledge system is different from the Western knowledge system. That is how the IKS term was coined.
I asked this question with one more objective. Recently, we had Dr. Vaidya Kotecha ji here in Pune, and he also mentioned that rather than saying that it is a traditional knowledge, we should propose it as a traditional science. So there is some difference. That is what I think in the two terms. So we need to be very careful while using
this. IKS is something which is now promoted by the government, and there is also this term has been coined. We did not create it. We are part of that scheme.
No, I understand that. But this is a question which I always have in my mind also, that how we want to pose it or how we want to propose
the thing is that, see, we can call it as a medical science, well and good, but there are also debates that Ayurveda is more than a medical science, it is more like a health system. That debate is there on one side, but the whole question here is that Ayurveda perhaps it could represent another approach to knowledge building. In that case, calling it as IKS is to just give that background that Ayurveda represents another approach to. Otherwise, if it is the same as modern science, modern medicine, then perhaps the question arises, why do we need Ayurveda itself? So we are examining here whether Ayurveda is able to offer something different in terms of understanding the human body. Is it valid? We can look at it very openly. If it is not, then we should be even in a position to accept that, this is the way forward. Anyway, we will come back to that.
Yeah.
But, the IKS dialogue has now become very prominent in the Indian context. But I think, yes, we will discuss that maybe at a little later. Thank you for bringing out this point. Now we have Dr. Asmita remaining.
Yes, I think now I'm properly seen and audible also.
Yes, yes.
So audio-visual systems, and this is a gift of the new knowledge, which was not there, available to common man so easily in the era of Mahabharata, where Sanjay used to be on the field and he used to relay the things to Dhritarashtra. So if we say that these were the anecdotal evidences of what we had, where we wanted to reach, but probably we could not bring it at the mass level like the present science has brought it. So Indian knowledge systems, they are really deep. They are thorough. They provide a basis for human existence, as well as they provide the basis to think and face the unknown, and that is what is something different than all the materialistic knowledge systems. Having said that, I would like to also say here that Ayurveda is a vast knowledge repository. So it does not remain only the medical science, first thing. It goes beyond that. And therefore, various other scientists like Professor Brajendranath Seal from Kolkata, or maybe the other literary scientists, some botanists, some physics and chemistry scientists from different parts of India, always looked at Carakasaṃhitā as a treasure trove of these different branches. So when we talk about Parinamvad, when we talk about Kshanabhangurvad, when we talk about other basic like Saptapadartha, we talk about the tenets of philosophy like Samanya, Vishesh, Samvay, Abhav, or even about the directions, the gatis, the Urdhva, Adho, Tiryak, and all that. So everybody from those who have learned and trained in modern sciences after 18th century, or maybe from the beginning of 19th century, because the whole perspective was changed, looked at Carakasaṃhitā or the Ayurvedic ancient text to get something over and above what they already know using the modern science. My question is, are we doing the same at the moment when we talk about Indian knowledge systems? If we accept the first fact that new knowledge always develops on the basis of present day knowledge, and in that context, Ayurveda is a continuous flow of knowledge which encompassed many other streams like yoga, like some part of Tantra, like dietetics, nutrition, and it grew big, really big. But then there was a period of stagnancy due to various reasons. There is no point in always putting our finger to the other person that they killed us, they stole our knowledge. It's always like could not protect it, we could not develop it due to many reasons. This also we need to understand and think at this time point. So, coming to the next point, which I feel very right, is Ayurveda also has lots of good things and also reflections of some not so socially relevant practices for modern era. And while talking about this knowledge system, we should be able to introspect impartially, like what is said in Samhita, apta shishta vibhuddhaste. So the vibhuddhatva should come in. They are they are unbiased, so that unbiased approach towards analyzing our own whatever text we have with us and the whole knowledge system which we have with us, we should be able to analyze it and then come out with what is more relevant, what we can take ahead for next generations, and we also have to leave behind the irrelevant things which have joined in the text over the due course of time. So I feel that this is a very good interactive session that Acharya has planned under the leadership of Dr. Ram Manohar. And I also feel good that yes, Indian knowledge systems, they must come to forefront, and many scientists have dwelled upon Indian knowledge systems, which are especially Ayurvedic Vaidyas. They should teach us, and even very good practitioners should look into it. Like Fritz of Capra has mentioned about Ayurveda. He has written 2 pages on the dimension of Kal in his Tao of Physics. Then there are many other people also have written the various aspects. In fact, Stephen Hawking, he has written in his book about A Brief History of Time about the concept of not only Ayurveda but also Upanishads regarding various dimensions. So are our teachers well aware of these people taking cognizance of our wealth and building upon it and adding the new knowledge? So if that is going to happen, yes, we have a lot to offer. We have a lot to separate and leave behind, and that critical analysis people like us must do, is my honest feeling. Thank you for giving me an opportunity.
So thank you very much, Dr. Smita, for those opening remarks. And thanks to everybody also for very thought-provoking opening remarks.